Welcome back to CMG Oral Stage Forex Selection. We are treating Forex. What is Forex for beginners? This is purely for beginners. So if you are not a beginner, I recommend you check the page for the intermediate and then maybe the advanced, right? So, and in fact, thank you very much for sticking with us to this level of the playlist, the series. We really appreciate your efforts, and please keep it up. So at this moment, we are on episode 12, in fact, 13, and we are treating what is pips, right? The recent video was on leverages, the equity, and then the forms of what? The margins, right? We have about 3 types of margins that we have to look at, the equity and then the leverage. So we did that. Now we are at a very important topic on this playlist, in fact. And then the topic is actually on pips, right? So in Forex, whatever we do, whatever we can actually benefit from, right? Any money, any profit that we can get is on the parts of what? Pips. Without pips, we can't do anything. Because we actually also learned from the onset that currency, you can trade in what? 2 forms. When it comes to Forex, there are only 2 directions that you can actually benefit from. Either the market is going up in an uptrend or coming down in a downtrend. So in these 2 directions, you can actually benefit from them, right? And so it is these movements that is termed as what? Pips, right? When a currency pair moves up or down, that movement, that distance traveled is called what? Pips, right? So in your junior high school, senior high school, whatever, you learn something about distance, kilometers and all that. So in Forex, you also do with something like of that sort. And that is what's called pips. Without this, you can't actually do anything in Forex. If you don't know what it is, then I think you will lack. So that's what you are going to look at first. I won't waste time here. Now, pip. Spell that PIP. Right? So with the diagram here, the picture here, I think there, well, yeah, it's the smallest whole unit price move that an exchange rate can make based on Forex market conversion, right? So that is, we are talking about the movement. And then we have something called exchange rate, right? Yes, it's these movements that come about with the term exchange rate, going up or down, the difference between the distances traveled, right? So that is it. And then when you look at the second picture too, the PIP stands for price interest points, right? So, or the percentage in points. And it's the smallest price change that a currency exchange rate can make. It is the last decimal of a Forex code. Don't worry, we'll look at this shortly. Now, let's look at the video. So, now PIP is the bedrock of everything. I repeat, everything we are going to be doing in what? Forex. Now, if you miss the concept of PIP here, believe me, your foundation is going to be very shaky throughout your trading journey, your Forex journey. Now, currencies are gauged or measured in pips, right? Trade orders are placed what? Pips. Profits are calculated in pips. So it means that whatever you're going to do, it's in pips, right? Yes, it's like an SI unit for the Forex, right? If you have done, you know what is a general science. If you have done science, that is it. So practically everything we are doing in Forex involves pips. So take your time to understand these very important topic, right? Now, in fact, when it comes to Forex, these terms are many a time overlooked, right, by the other teachers, right? I'm not saying I'm the best. I'm just laying the facts there, right? Many of them do not have time to take you through this. They will just start by opening their charts or your charts and then start talking about the bullish and the bearish and all that, right? So as you go, in fact, for me, I don't learn this way. I learn in such a way that I can actually teach another person. Right? That is the generation. That is what I believe in. If you really understand, then you should be able to explain, even though sometimes explaining some of these can be very difficult. but I try my best to use some analogies, right, to make the things simple without even bothering myself about the big terms. So if you're amateur, that is my main point, my main point. If you're not amateur, please leave this series and then move to the next one. So that you don't start saying maybe there are things that I will not touch or maybe you should have explained this. No, I have a way of teaching my people so that they understand. It's not the term that is going to give them the money, but it's a concept. That is what I see. So now let's box on. Now a pip is the smallest unit in every currency per what wait. It's the smallest unit in which a currency pair can change, right? It can change means that you can move either up or down. That's what we're talking about. Now, it can also be said to be a standardized unit, right? In fact, it is a standardized unit and the smallest amount by which a currency pair in forex market can change, right? So somebody even argue that it is not the most, in fact, the smallest, because the smallest of all the smallest is what we call the pippets, right? So we have the pippets, yeah, beside the pip, right? The pipet is taken from the pip. So that is, so the pipet is the smallest. We look at that shortly. Now, so now we have looked at pips. Simply means that pips what moving currency pairs moving up or down, the distance that they move. Because we are going to benefit, we are only concerned with the movement of the currency, either going up or coming down. Then we can benefit or we can lose, determined on the type of trade that we actually entered. So that is what pips, basically. So get that in mind. It's what pips was the movement up and down of the currency pair. It's as simple as that. Now, pips calculation. Now we are going to look at the pips calculation. What is the actual calculation for every currency? In fact, every pip, every currency, and then the movement that they make, and then how much is actually what gained from that. So we should look at what is a pip value. So every pip, if you move up or down, how much is that pip in dollar or in that currency that you are trading? So that's what we are going to look at what pip calculation, right? Now, pip is an acronym for percentage in points or price interest points. A pip is the smallest whole unit price move that an exchange rate can make based on what forex market convention. Now, most currency pairs are priced out to what 4 decimal places, right? And a single pip is in the what? Is in the last 4th decimal place, right? A pip is thus equivalent to what? 1 out of 100, like we said, is a percentage thing. So it's what? 1 out of 100, right? So means that, or 1 out of 100 of what? 1%, or 1 basis point, right? Basis point. So don't worry, I'll like I said, I'll read, but the important thing is to listen to me. I'll make things easy for you. So don't worry, I will look at the 4 decimal places that you're talking about, right? So pips are calculated in what? In decimal, right? The distances are what? Denoted in pips are denoted in what? Distances, and then the units is actually what? In decimal places. Yeah, we identify this what? In decimal places. Now, this decimal place that we are talking about to be the pip or the pipet, for the pip is in 4 decimal places. That's the 4th decimal place. That's what we look at, right? Some currency pairs also deal with the 2nd decimal place, right? So per standard is that the 4th decimal place that we look at to call it what a pip, right? And the others also have the 2. We look at them briefly. Which ones are the 4 decimal places, and then the other being the 2 decimal places. So stick with me. Now, for example, the smallest whole unit move, that's USD card, right? That's the US dollar against the Canadian dollar. Everything they can make is what? 0.0001 or 1 base point, right? So that's the decimal place that we're talking about, right? 1, 2, 3, 4. So 4 decimal places, right? For such a pair, right? So, for example, we are saying that the smallest unit move, the movement that we are talking about, the smallest move that a USD card can make, the smallest is what? The 4 decimal, that's 0.001. That's what we are talking about. That's the 4 decimal place. You will see some which are only 2 decimal places. So that's what we're talking about. Now, let's understand what actually is PIP. Let's have that understanding, right? Now, a PIP is the basic concept of foreign exchange, right? Foreign exchange, forex traders what? Buy and sell a currency whose value is expressed in relation to another currency pair. A currency what? Quotes. For these forex pairs appear as bid and ask price that are accurate to 4 decimal places, right? Let me take this reading again. Now, a pair is a basic concept of foreign exchange, right? Forex traders can what actually buy and sell a currency pair, a currency whose value is expressed in relation to another currency quote, right? So what it means is that we said that from the onset of this plane is that we don't trade usually on a normal day, right? We don't trade one currency, right? Even though there are some exceptions. So just listen. Let's focus on what the standard way. We don't trade one currency, right? We trade currency against another, right? So it is the movement between these two, right? The distances between these two that we actually what benefit from. This movement got what the pips, right? So we don't trade currency in isolation. We do it against one another. When one currency, one economy is stronger than the other, we benefit from that. So that is what it means here. Now, movement in the exchange rate is measured by pip. That's the movement you're talking about. Since most currency pairs are quoted to a maximum of 4 decimal places, the smallest whole unit change for these pairs is 1 pip, right? Now, let's box up and then look at pip value. So what it means, what is pip value? What pip value in the layman perspective or idea is just that how much does it cost for a pip, right? If a a currency pair moves a distance, right? A distance that we call it a pip. How much is that move? So that is what we call pip value. So if you move one distance, like 1 meter, let's say in a normal lifestyle, if you travel 1 meter, that 1 meter, how much is it? Right? If you cut a fabric of 1 yard, that's 1 yard. How much is it? Right? So it's a distance. The meter, how much is it? So that is what we call pip value. So every pip has a value, right? And this pip value are not the same. They differ from each currency pair. Get that well understood. That pip value differs from one another in terms of what the currency was present in the movement. So that's one point you should know. So now let's take now the value of a pip depends on the currency pair, right? Like we said. Now the exchange rate and then what the trade value. So these are the factors that will bring about the difference in the value of the pip. What's actually what brings this about. So we are talking about the currency pair, the exchange rate, and then the trade value. We look at them shortly now. When your forex account is funded with let's say USD dollars, and USD is the second of the pair or the quote currency, such as with the USD pair, the pip is what fixed at what 0.001. So what it means is that anytime you fund your account, right? Your account can be in pounds, can be in what's it, the USD dollar, or can be in any kind of the international currency that you know. Even Canadian dollar, it can be in that. So that's one factor that you should get. Now the second thing is that when you have your currency, in fact your trading capital funded in that, and then you are trading a particular pair, and this particular pair, the second pair, the second item in that pair is USD, then there's a way to calculate what the pip value. That's what it means. So for instance, look at this. We have the Euro USD, right? And your account is founded in USD, right? You funded your account in USD dollar. And then the currency that you want to trade at the moment is what? is Euro USD, right? Euro USD. And we are talking about the second what leg of the pair, right? The second leg of the pair. So we are saying that in the case of this, right, you funded your USD dollar, and then the pair that you're trading have this the second leg to be what Euro USD. Then there's a way of calculating that. And then we are saying that if it happens that way, then the pip is what fixed at what 0.001, right? So that is it. You told me, I said that pip can be in the fourth decimal places, and then it can be in the what the fifth one. But when it's in the fifth, we get a term called pippets, right? And then there are times the pip can also be at the second decimal place, right? So now we are drawing a distinction here that when your account is funded in USD and you are trading a pair which has its subsequent leg, the second leg, to be USD, then what do you call? You say that your pip is should be at what? The fourth word decimal places, right? So that is it. Now let me also draw attention to this so that at least we know use the term instead of using the second leg and the third leg and all that, so I don't get confused. Now, every pair, in every pair, the first currency is called the base currency. And then the second one is called what the quote currency. So now that you know the term, I'm going to use them. So don't forget them. The first currency is called the base, and then the other is called the what? The quote. Right? So that is what is written here. Or the what? The second of the pair is the quote currency, yes. So that's what we are talking about. So whatever you are saying, don't forget them. Because whatever calculation you are going to do, it depends on these criteria. Right? So without this criteria, you may use one fifth value calculation for another and you get it wrong. So get that in mind. So now, I think without being said, let's box up. Now, in this case, the value of one pip is calculated by multiplying the trade value or the lot size by what? This pip what? This pip decimal point, right? This pip level, this pip placement. So that is it, right? So for the USD pair, multiply a trade value of say 10,000 euros by this 0.001, right? So the pip value is what? Is $1. If you bought 10,000 euros against the dollar at 1.0801 and sold at 1.0811, you would make a profit of 10 pips, right, or $10. Now, this may sound confusing. That's why I said I'll read first, but I'll give you a simple explanation to that, right? So now, whatever our focus here is finding what? The value in dollar for a pip, right? The value for a pip in terms of $1. So each pip or each movement for a particular pair, how much does it cost? Or how much is it in terms of dollar? That is our main focus. If you don't get this, then you get confused. You don't know whatever I'm doing now, right? So that is what it means. But for you to do this, you have to know which of the USD, where is the USD? Is it the base currency or the quote currency, right? And when we look at it, if the USD is what the base the quote currency, then we do multiplication, right? We do multiplication. Otherwise, we do division. It's just what it's a common it's a standard that we do, right? So that is it. I'm going to be patient and then explain this to you. So I think you are okay now. We know our base code currency, right? If you know our code currency and our capital is in USD, then how do you do? We multiply what that pip. How do you calculate the pip value actually? So what do you do? By multiplying what the trade value, or let's say the lot size, by what? By this pip decimal point, right? So that is it. Now, I also have to draw attention to something that was done here, right? So what do you do? So we multiply the trade value, say 10,000 euros by this, right? So the pip value is what? Is 1. right? So now, if you do your normal calculation, this one, right, by this, you are getting what? $1. This one, you can do that from your calculator from your phone or your PC, right? I've done mine already. So multiply 10,000 by this 0.001, 0.0001, right? 30. Then you multiply that. When you multiply that, you're going to get $1. So it means that for such pairs, not only Euro USD, but for such pairs in a situation whereby the Euro USD is the second or the the quote currency, then for that particular pair, a pip is what? $1. A pip, a movement in that currency is $1. That is the meaning. So now that we know a pip for that currency or for such currency to be $1, then any movement that we get, if you get more than one pip, then what do you do? It's just a matter of multiplying that by what? By the 1. If you get 20, you multiply the 20 by 1, right? So it's that common mathematics, right? That common math. It's as simple as that. So now let's look at the example, right? A typical example. So now we are saying that, let's say you have bought 10,000 euros against the dollar, right? At this, and sold at this, right? So at this and sold at this, it's just talking about the movement. So what do? You just subtract this value, right, from this. So that is it. If you do that, you get what? 10 pips. I hope you are getting the whole idea, right? So now we have now that we have know a value for a pip. Now we have been given an example to do that. So if you bought 10,000 euros, this figure, I will explain them briefly, I think, in the next episode, right? So just assume that this is the amount that we are buying. I will explain to them in terms of contract size and all this thing. And only we are treating lot sizes. So just flow with this figure, right? It can be any amount of money, 100,000, can be 100,000, can be 1,000 euros, right? So there's a way of doing that. So if you bought this euros against the dollar at this and this, so if you're buying, I told you in forex, you either buy or you sell. So if we are buying, it means that we wish that the price at which we bought, right, in the next few minutes or 3 hours or whatever, depending on the time frame that you are trading, the market should go up. So going up, we are going to subtract the difference, the point that we bought, from the where we actually got to, or where we anticipated that we actually want to exit the market. So that is what it means. You understand? So if you bought at this and then you sold at this, the selling, if you say you sold at this, it's another confusing thing that if you're an amateur, can confuse you, like you can actually face. If you bought something, when you exit the market, it's just the opposite of the transaction that you did, right? So if I bought and I'm exiting at this level, what did I do? I just sold. It's a simple thing. You don't need to think too hard about it. I bought at one point. If I'm exiting the market at another level, I bought. Then if I sold, then if I'm exiting, then I bought. It's as simple as that. So now, the difference is what? This minus this. And then what do you get? If you do your math, you get 10. And now this 10 that's what? 10 pips. And then we also realize that per the pip calculation for such currency pair, a pip is what? $1. A pip is $1. So now it's as simple as that. So one by the 10, what do you get? You get what? 10. So in terms of money, it's what? It's $10. This is as simple. This is simple. If you are not getting it, please play the video again. And then just listen to what I said. It's as simple as that. Right? So one pip is $1. So if you have got 10 pips, it's just mathematics that you need to do. Just multiply by that. Now, on the other hand, so what you have done now is in the case where the quote currency is what USD, and you funded the account to what in USD dollar. Simple. Now, on the other hand, when the USD is rather what the base currency, what do you do? It's you do the reverse of whatever you did. You did what? You do division. So here, let's look at it. Now, on the other hand, when USD is the first of the pair, say the base currency, such as with the USD card pair, the PIP value also involves the exchange rate, right? No problem. Now, divide the size of the PIP by the exchange rate, and then multiply by the trade value. So let's look at what we are saying. So for example, this is what? The PIP, right? Divided by the exchange rate, right? Then multiply by what? The lot size of what? 10,000, 100,000, right? 100,000. And then you see the result to be this, right? Just do the math. Just divide this, right? By the exchange rate, right? If you do that, you have some a lengthy decimal figure, right? Just do that, a lengthy decimal figure. So after doing that, then what do? You multiply by the 100,000. When you multiply by 100,000, you still have some decimal places. But in terms of money, dollar, in terms of currency, we have 2 decimal places. So that's why it was what? Truncated to what? 2 decimal places, 7.79, right? Do the math, you see it. Use the calculator. I've done mine already. I don't have the ability to be doing this here. That is why I'm just doing that, right? So if you do that, you see. So what do? You divide this one by the exchange rate. You get some lengthy decimals. After that, what do? You multiply that one by the 100,000, the units that you are buying, right? I'll explain this later. Units that you are buying in face value, and then you have this. So now that we have this, so it means that for such pairs, right, it's not only this pair, but such pairs where the currency, the base currency is USD, right? For USD, then a pip for that, it's what? A pip costs what? 7.79 what? Dollar. A pip is what? It's equivalent to what? $7.79. So you see how huge the money is. So when you are trading, you have to be very careful. The pair that you are trading, you have to be very, very careful. Because many a time you just enter a trade and then you assume that you think you want to you have some amount of money that you want to lose, let's say $10. But at the end of the trade, you realize that you are losing more than that, right? At the end of the trade, you are losing more than that, and you have no idea what is happening. So these are some problems that the amateur face, and you hear that forex is what is a scam, is that blah 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 blah. It's because they don't know what it takes, right? They don't really understand whatever it is. They are just doing it. All they know is just to enter, jump into the trade, and then exit the trade. And when the amounts results, they don't even know how that money was they came about with that figure. All they know is they went into a trade and then they came out with this or that. No, we have to, if you really want to take this to a higher level, take it serious, then this is what you have to do. These are the minute things that you have to understand, the basics. Please bear in mind, people actually pay dollars to do this. I'm telling you, people actually pay that. I've paid before, and I didn't even benefit from this. It's not because the my mentors were not ready or something. Some were not ready. Some too had a bad intention. They just collect the money and they will teach you. Some too do not have the time to teach because they are traders themselves. How can they be handling this thing? Of course, I'm a trader, but I actually dedicate time for this. So I don't trade all day. I don't trade all the time, all week. I've actually managed my time for this. So this is actually free for you. So you have to just take them very serious, right? Of course, you go to the YouTube and you see other videos, you see random videos, but it's not a series that you can actually understand them in that sequential form. So please take this in very serious. These are very free. People pay $100 for just a seminar. And some also, if they have even pay a regular thing, a month, some are paying $200. Some even pay $500, $200 for a month of these services. But this is free. So please take it serious. So that is what it means. So in terms of, back to this, in terms of USD card or such pairs where the base currency is USD, So it means that the quote currency can be any other currency. But the value for a pip will still be what? 7.7 $9. So that is it. So now that we have seen this, now let's look at a typical example. So let's say if you bought 100,000 USD against the Canadian dollar at this exchange rate, right, and sold at 1 point whatever, right, 1.2830, and made a profit of, right. So let me take this again. So let's say you bought 100,000 USD against the dollar at this and sold at this, right? So it means that you are still in the buy. So if you bought at this level, you realize that how many decimal places? 1, 2, 3, 4. Bear in mind, don't forget this. You are still with this within this 4 decimal places. Here to 1, 2, 3, 4. So our focus is still on those, the 4 decimal places. Sorry. The 4 decimal places, right? So what you just have to do is what? Subtract 1.2829, right? Just from this. And you'll be left with what? 1 pip, right? Even if you look at 29 minus 30, right? It's 1. So that we have what? 1 pip. That's the movement. Difference between here and here is what? 1 pip. And this we call what? You can call it what? I don't want to introduce another term. It's also called a spread, right? So that is the spread, the difference between the exchange rate, whatever, is what? The spread, right? I will look at that. I don't want to confuse you now. So that is it. So the difference here is what? Is 1. So that means when you bought at this, right, you only expected the currency to move only a pip. So now, and then you have also look at the fact that for such currency, a pip is what? 7.79. So I mean that if you have 1 pip here, then it's just logic. You are still having the 7.79. So I hope this is well understood. That is it. So now with the yen pairs, they have what? 2 decimal places. If you have any currency pair with a yen in it, that's what it is. It's as simple as that. So take note of the criteria, how the calculation is done. If you have any yen pair, right? If you have any yen pair or any currency with a yen in it, the yen can be on the left or right. But let me tell you, you only see yen on as what? As the code currency. Always. I've never even met a currency pair with the yen being what? The base currency. No. So that is why we didn't even make any distinction between here being the code or being the base. So that is it. So for that one, the truth is only what? Use 2 decimal places instead of 4 decimal places. So the subtraction is the what? Down between 2 decimal places. So that's what it means. So for currency pairs such as Euro yen and USD yen, the value of a pip is this. Look at the calculation. For this one, is 1 out of 100, right? Divided by the exchange rate. So 1 out of 100 divided by exchange rate. For example, if the Euro yen is quoted at a rate of this, right? 1 pip is what? This divided by that. That's what we saw here. So we do that by this, and then that will be this, right? So with a lot size of 100,000, right? Look at this and no worry. This just I said, just bear with me. With 100,000 of this euros, the value of 1 pip in USD will be this, right? So what do you just multiply by the 100,000, right? So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 5. That's 5 zeros here. That's 5 zeros here. That's why I just multiply by that. If you are a mathematician, you know math a bit, you understand what I did. Right? So you are multiplying, you just move the decimal point to that number of zeros. 5 zeros here. You just move 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So 7.54. So it's as simple as that. You understand? So what we are talking about, the base currency and then the code currency, that is it. That's pounds, euro, right? This is another different kind of currency pair, right? And we are talking about the standard pip, right? Is what? 4 decimal places. So 1, 1, 2, 3, 4, right? So this is the fourth what digit. The first digit is not part of it. We are talking about decimal places. So don't get confused. Decimal places, we forget about what? The integer part of the number. We deal with the decimal aspect of it. So 1, 2, 3, 4. This is the 4. And then when it comes to the code currency fee, 1, 1, 2, 3, 4. Right? So the difference between the two, the codes and then the base is what? Now, if you take 5 from 6, it's what? 1. So that is this. So that is that. It's as simple as that. So that is so more. So just let's have just a reading. So as most currency pairs are priced to 4 decimal places, that is what is here. The smallest change would be to the last number after the decimal point. For example, 0.001, 0.0001, which is illustrated as the one indicated in this example. The difference between a pip and a pipette is simply 5 decimal places and not a 4, right? For the pip. So if you are pipette, you have 5 decimal places. If you are a pip, 4 decimal places. Someone may ask, what if it is 2 decimal places? I think there's no special name for that. I don't know. In fact, I've never met it, come across it. So for most pairs, a pip is equivalent to 0.01% or 1 out of the 100 of 1%. That's what we said. So don't get confused. Stay with this with me. It's easiest what? It's easier to understand. So that is it. So here to 1, 2, 3, 4, right? The 1, 2, 3, 4, right? So one page. It's as simple as that. Now let's have a look at the second term. It's called spread, right? Now I'm adding it because the spread and then the exchange rate, like they go hand in hand. It's like you can even use them interchangeably, right? So that is it. So the spread is what the difference between what the bid and then the ask price, right? I told you in the market of forex, what you do is what we buy and we sell, we buy and sell, we buy and sell, we buy and sell, right? So that is it. So the difference between the buying and the selling price is what we call the spread, or better to maybe the exchange rate, right? So that is it, right? So in a simple term, when you say the ask price, right? Let me take it from here first. Ask price, right? Ask price is the price a seller is willing to accept for an asset. If I'm selling something, I have the price that I want it to be accepted, right? I have the price at which I want to sell that product. If anybody comes with the money less than that money, I will not be willing to sell. So the ask is from what? The ask price is from the seller. One thing I also got confused with when I was an amateur or newbie was the bid and then ask price. I was very, very, very confused. So you shouldn't even count yourself lucky. Of course, there's no two ways about that. I'm not bragging because the problem that I faced, I went through. That's what I've put into what my passion to do this for free. I am doing it here for free, right? Even though if you come one on one, I'll teach you and then I'll charge you as a fee. But here you are seeing it for free, right? Now, like I said, the ask price is the price quoted by the seller, right? And it's the price that we are willing to accept for an asset. An asset is just a product, or in terms of forex, is what currency that we are talking about, right? And then the bid price, B, buyer, right? So just I have a way of learning to teach to make it easy. So B, bid is from the buyer, and then the ask you can is simple. It's from the seller. So the bid price was a price, the price that a buyer is willing to pay for an asset. Of course, if I'm a seller, right, and I want to sell maybe a pair of jeans at 500, that's $50, right? That's my price that I want to accept for that pair of jeans. But a buyer may also come and then tell me that they don't have that money, or they are willing to pay maybe $45. So you see the difference. So if the difference between these two is what is termed as what the spread. I am willing to sell at $50. The buyer is telling that they are willing to what buy at 45. So sometimes you have to what come to a compromise. So if the compromise there, that comes about with what the term what spread. This is as simple as that. So we do them practically. Now practically, if you open your MetaTrader 4, I think 4, yeah, 4, you can see this, right? So for the Euro USD, right, you see what the bid price or the buyer is what the price is on the left, right? It's always the price on the left, and then the ask price is always the price on what the right. And bear in mind, always the ask price is bigger than the bid price. It's as simple as that. Always, yes, undoubtedly, I think I can say that always the ask price is always bigger than the bid price. It's as simple as that. If you open your MetaTrader 4 or 5, I think 4 especially, you can see this. Some of the brokers actually display this. Some too do not display it. I think yes, yes. So some of them you see, some of them you don't see them. So that is it, right? So it's as simple as that. So we quote them and then we find a difference between them. We quote them, find a difference between them. It's as simple as that. I'm not going to do that. So the base currency, the counter currency, or the quote currency, see them. That is it, right? So we come about the difference between them, the spread, or let us say the pit. So as usual, I would use what is happening around us to explain this concept. I always like simplifying things for my students. Like I said, forex is not meant to be hard. It is people that try to make it complex so as to monopolize the business for themselves. This is just by the way, right? Of course, people make forex very difficult. Of course, I know you need dedication, you need time, you need discipline to actually learn it successfully. But many a time, it's the way people teach it that makes it seem difficult, right? So I try to make things easy and then simple. So I think I wouldn't waste my time with these examples, with the understanding of whatever I said. I think you are okay with that. So I'm not going to read it. I'm just going to scroll through here. So you have a fair understanding of whatever I'm doing, right? So from here, you can read from here, right? Then you come here, you can be pausing your video and be doing that right here. Then still pausing your video and then be reading through. It's simple. I am a Ghanaian and I'm doing this video from Ghana. So most of the currency that I use there will be in Ghana City. And then sometimes in Naira, because I think they are brother country. We love them. We do things together. So that is it. Whatever country that you are in or the currency that you are using, it's just a matter of changing what the currency. The figure can remain the same, or you can even quote your own figure and do the math. It's as simple as that. There's no anything special about it, right? So that is it, right? The same thing here in practical form, the spread that we just did, right? The difference between the bid and then ask price. Then in the example, right? Look at this. So on the Naira and then the cities, I think the ZAR also came somewhere, right? Then you do that. So we call it okay. In fact, for this particular episode, thank you very much for staying with us. In fact, I think we are left with only 2 videos, 2 episodes. Then we'll be done for this uh, series for the beginners. In fact, this is a complete one. So with that, we can move to after the two episodes, we can move to the intermediate, then we move in that order. So thank you very much for staying with us. If any problem, if anything you missed out on that, you didn't explain them well, or you find it difficult to understand, you can put in the comment section or even write to us email or even a call. We are here for you. Thank you very much. Please like and share and subscribe. Thank you very much. See you in the next episode. Bye.